Welcome back, family. Pull up a chair, lock the door, and put your phone on Do Not Disturb, because what I am about to walk you through tonight is the most delicious, most unhinged, most jaw-on-the-floor karma reversal the culture has served up all year, and if you scroll away before the halfway mark, I promise you will regret it for the rest of the week. Before I even start pouring, do me one small favor and tap that thumb up button, tap that subscribe circle if you have not already, and switch on the little bell so the algorithm actually delivers me to your feed the next time I go live with a story like this one, because trust me, this train is only picking up speed from here. Now let me warn you up front. The streets have been feeling a little strange lately. Somewhere between the missing persons flyers piling up online and the wave of creators nobody can seem to reach for days at a time, the timeline has taken on a shape I do not love. I am not going to sit here and pretend to have those answers tonight, but I want you to keep that unease in your back pocket while we walk through what I am about to unpack, because the woman at the center of this story is behaving like somebody who forgot the universe keeps receipts. Moving over to the actual entertainment, Cardi B is having a week. And I do not mean the fun kind. I mean the kind of week where every single decision she makes turns into a fresh humiliation, every tweet turns into a boomerang, and every time she opens her mouth on a live audio space, another old clip of hers goes viral to contradict her. The discount department store doll has officially entered her free-fall era, and the entire internet is calling it exactly what it looks like, the harvest of a storm she planted with her own two hands. Here is the setup. Chris Blake Griffith, the young man who has spent the last several months making some very serious allegations against NFL star Stefon Diggs, just sat down on a full-length podcast and told his side of the story again. And the reason this matters, the reason the culture is losing its mind tonight, is because his story has not changed. Not one comma. Not one date. Not one detail. He has now told this same account across 4 separate long-form conversations, and the through-line is airtight. Meanwhile, the woman who has appointed herself the personal defense attorney of Stefon Diggs, a man she is not even publicly with anymore, keeps hopping onto audio spaces with a brand new version of events every 24 hours. Do you see the problem? Let me play you a portion of the interview so you can hear it in his own words, and then I need you to sit with me for a second at the back end of the clip, because there is a layer to this you cannot miss. Clip: Chris Blake Griffith, calmly walking through the alleged encounter, the drive, the moment inside the car, the escalation, the exit, the 7-day gap, the downtown incident, the 3 men, the elevator codes, the airport with no shoes, the run-in with John Wall, the damage control. Family, let that sink in. A grown man told a national audience he walked through a major airport with no shoes on his feet after leaving a house he was accused of stealing from. Read that back to yourself. If you leave a property with nothing, not a jacket, not a chain, not a pair of sneakers, how exactly are you the thief in the story? The math does not math. And the more you listen to Chris Blake Griffith speak, the more you notice something the discount department store doll clearly did not notice. He is not embellishing. He is not adding new characters every week. He is not crashing out on live audio at 3 in the morning. He is calmly telling the same story to anyone who will sit still long enough to hear it. Contrast that with Cardi. Because for the past 10 days, Cardi B has done nothing but log on and set herself on fire in public. She has called Chris Blake Griffith a lizard. She has called him a white albino. She has called him every ugly little pet name her thumbs could type before the caffeine wore off. And here is the part that has the entire internet screaming into a pillow: she was not even in the room. She was not in the car. She was not in the apartment. She was not on the plane. She has no primary knowledge of anything that happened between those 2 men, and yet she has taken it upon herself to be judge, jury, and executioner of a stranger's credibility. Not for nothing, but that is not defense. That is desperation. And this is where the karma layer kicks in, because Cardi B did not just wake up one morning and decide to become the loudest voice in a courtroom she was never invited to. She has a history. A long, well-documented, receipts in a shoebox history of saying the exact same kind of thing about somebody else's man. You already know who I am talking about. When Nicki Minaj's husband was in his own storm, Cardi had jokes. Cardi had monologues. Cardi had entire freestyles worth of commentary about a situation she had no business commenting on. She said things that were nasty. She said things that were vile. She said things a grown woman with a daughter watching should have been embarrassed to type, let alone broadcast. And now the universe has done what the universe does. It has handed her a mirror. And she cannot stop staring into it. Let me bring in another voice, because I do not want you taking my word alone. A creator I have been quietly watching for months put this into words so clean I had to pause the video and rewind it 3 times. Clip, second commentator. Not too long ago, Cardi B told another woman to make sure her son doesn't grow up to be a sexual predator like his father. And now Cardi is playing Russian roulette with the possibility that someone can say the exact same thing to her. And for all the hell we give that other lady about her marriage, at least it's a happy one. Cardi might wake up with the realization that she let a sexual predator make her his 5th baby mama to hide the fact that he likes men. That's a Tyler Perry production I don't wish on nobody. But do you see how that can make somebody a little defensive? Drop your verdict in the comment tab and let me know where you stand, because I am not the only one seeing this pattern. That commentary is the cleanest explanation anyone has offered for why Cardi B refuses to let this story breathe. She is not defending Stefon Diggs because she loves him. She has already told us she does not love him. She has already told us she is not with him. She is defending him because if she lets the room quiet down long enough to think, the same accusations she hurled at Nicki's husband can now be hurled right back at hers, and the discount department store doll knows it. She is not fighting for her man. She is fighting to keep her own words from turning into her own obituary. And that is the part that is going to haunt her. Because the internet has a memory now. The internet has clip archives, screenshot folders, and search bars that never sleep. Every ugly thing she said about Papa Bear last year has been dug up and reposted with a fresh caption. Every joke she made at Nicki's expense is now being replayed with new subtitles. This is not a news cycle. This is a receipts avalanche. And she is standing at the bottom of the hill in flip-flops. Now let me hit you with the other layer, because this is the part where the humiliation actually turns cinematic. Somebody on the timeline dug up an old courtside photograph of Stefon Diggs sitting next to a woman who was very clearly not Cardi B. And I do not mean a friend. I do not mean a cousin. I mean a woman that man was looking at like she was the last chocolate on the shelf. His entire face was lit up. His jaw was relaxed. His shoulders were open. Every piece of body language evidence you could ever want was in that photograph, and the internet caught it in about 6 minutes. Clip. Fan commentator dragging Cardi with the courtside photograph. This the one you gonna defend, huh? That's the baby daddy, right? This the one that had you looking crazy? Bro, he did you worse than Offset. I didn't think that was possible. Read that back to yourself. He did her worse than Offset. That sentence should be tattooed on the side of a blimp. Because for 2 solid years, the culture watched Cardi B parade her new relationship as an upgrade, as a glow-up, as proof that she had leveled out of the chaos era. She stood on international stages and let people believe she had traded up. And now, the internet is watching the receipts pile so high that Offset is being rehabilitated in real time. Offset. The same Offset she spent years dragging. The same Offset who caught strays in every album cycle. That man is being canonized this week because the alternative made him look like a saint. Let me pull one more piece of tape, because if you thought the courtside photograph was the finishing move, you have not heard the lyric receipt yet. Clip, second fan commentator, Cardi on her own song Magnet said, she just mad she got a man she be sharing bags with, expletive, my, expletive, a cheap, but I don't stick no dildos in his ass. As if that was a gag. Now look at her fiercely defending her man that be wearing purses and allegedly likes man booty. She tried to pop it about Lil Uzi. Tried to pop it about Nicki Minaj's husband. Now look at her, for the second time, defending her man in a courtroom situation. Family, that clip is the tombstone. She wrote her own indictment into a hook. Every ugly line she thought was a diss is now the exhibit her critics are entering into the record. This is what I mean when I say the harvest of the storm she planted. She spent years weaponizing other women's marriages for content. She spent years turning other people's private pain into a punchline she could sell for a streaming bonus. And now the microphone she used to slice everybody else with is pointed straight at her own throat, and she cannot figure out why. Let me be crystal clear about one more thing before we close, because I know somebody in the comments section is already typing. I am not sitting here telling you what to think about Chris Blake Griffith. I am not telling you what to think about Stefon Diggs. I am not telling you what to think about the case. Those are courtroom questions, and courtrooms will do what courtrooms do. What I am telling you, what the culture is telling you tonight, is that Cardi B has inserted herself into a room she has no legal standing in, no factual knowledge of, and no defensible reason to enter, and she is doing it because the moment she stops talking, her own past becomes the loudest voice in the building. That is not defense. That is a smoke machine. And then, just when I thought the story could not get any messier, my inbox started filling up with a completely different piece of nonsense. Apparently there is a trending clip going around where a certain up-and-coming artist supposedly sent a shot at Nicki Minaj in a new song. Something about a queen not being able to discredit her. I need y'all to log off. I need y'all to close the app. I need y'all to touch grass. Because Nicki Minaj is not going to entertain that, and I am not going to entertain it either. Nicki does not know that girl's name. Nicki does not have that girl's number. Nicki is not writing that girl into a verse. And every time you send me one of those 30-second bait clips, all you are doing is feeding a paid blog cycle that thrives on your outrage. Save the energy for something that actually matters, because we already have enough real drama on the table tonight. Which brings me back to where we started. To the discount department store doll. To the storm she planted. To the harvest she cannot stop reaping in real time. Cardi B has spent her entire public career telling the world she is untouchable, that she is the sharpest tongue in the room, that no other woman in her lane can outclown her, outclap her, or outcrash her. And for a long time, the culture handed her that crown. She was funny. She was loud. She was quotable. She was safe to laugh with because she always seemed to be the one holding the knife. But something has shifted. Slowly at first, and then all at once. The same audience that made her rich has started to notice that when the knife is turned on her, she cannot take a single cut. She cannot log off. She cannot stay silent. She cannot let a bad news cycle breathe long enough to expire on its own. She has to be inside it. She has to steer it. And every time she grabs the wheel, she drives the car deeper into the ditch. Meanwhile, and I want you to sit with the contrast here for a second, Nicki Minaj is not saying a word. Not one syllable. Not one subtweet. Not one Instagram story. She is quiet. She is composed. She is out here handling her business, promoting her art, and letting the universe do the arithmetic on her behalf. And the universe is doing that math with a red pen tonight. Because every single hit Cardi B is currently taking, every embarrassing photograph, every resurfaced lyric, every awkward defense of a man who no longer defends her back, is landing on her because of things she said about a woman who never had to say a single thing back. That is not a coincidence. That is not a bad news cycle. That is the exact energy she put into the world coming home to sleep in her bed. Somebody in the comments is going to accuse me of piling on, and I want to answer that right now. I am not piling on. I am reporting the pile. The pile exists. The pile has been growing for months. The pile is on every timeline, in every group chat, on every reaction channel, and in every barbershop conversation in the country. My job as a storyteller is to tell you what the pile looks like from the top of the hill, and from where I am standing, the view is unmistakable. Cardi B is not being bullied. Cardi B is being answered. And the answer is written in her own handwriting. So here is where I leave you tonight, family. I want 3 things from you before you scroll away. First, drop the word karma in the comments section if you agree with the read I just gave you, because I want the algorithm to see how many of you understood the assignment. Second, tell me in a full sentence which receipt hit the hardest, the courtside photograph, the magnet lyric, the airport with no shoes moment, or the Papa Bear callback, because the answer is going to shape the follow-up video I am already writing for tomorrow night. And third, share this video with the one friend who still tries to argue that Cardi B is winning, because they need to be gently, lovingly, publicly informed that the scoreboard has been updated. Before I sign off, I want to leave one more thought on the table, and this one is for the young women watching. There is a lesson in every karma cycle, and the lesson in this one is not about Cardi B. It is about all of us. Be careful what you say about other people's husbands. Be careful what you say about other people's marriages. Be careful what you turn into a punchline, because the universe is not a comedy club. The universe is a courtroom. And every joke you crack in that courtroom becomes evidence in your own trial one day. Cardi B is learning that lesson in front of 200 million people. You do not have to learn it the same way. I love y'all. I appreciate every single one of you who stayed all the way to the end. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring that bell, and I will meet you right back here tomorrow night, because trust me, this story is not done. There is another shoe about to drop, and when it hits the floor, I want you in the front row. Until then, stay safe, stay smart, and stay out of storms you helped build. Peace.